Welcome back to Insight. We're joined now by Dave McComb from D.O. McComb and Sons Funeral Homes. We've had you on before to talk about Dr. Alan Wolfelt. He's been here before. You guys have had him in for these grief seminars, and they're really popular. Tell us about Dr. Wolfelt first. He's very nationally known, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And if you look him up on the internet, he's probably one of the more popular figures in the grief and grief recovery kind of work. He has written nearly 40 books on grief, death, and dying, and he's written a recent one on divorce. And so he's kind of moving into that field as well. But he's really well thought of, and he's well received by people. He's been on the Oprah Winfrey Show. He's been on Nick News. He's been on Phil Donahue. So he's pretty well circulated.
Tell us what he's going to talk about when he comes here. It is, the grief seminar is April 23rd, but we're talking about it now because it always sells out.
That's right. Last year it sold out 30 days before the event. This year it's on the 22nd of April, and we're going to have an evening event, and that event is for the recently bereaved. So we invite all the people that we have served and their families to come on that evening from 6:30 until 8:30. And then on the next day we have it for caregivers, and the caregivers are anybody that would be from like the hospices in town, and also social workers, nurses, and there's also some doctors that show up to it as well.
I think that's something that we don't think about it a lot. We think about if we've lost someone and how it affects us. We don't think about the people who are in that line of work every day and how they have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's right. Who cares for the caregiver is really kind of what I think you're saying. And this gives them the ability to get some training on how to not only take care of the patients that they serve, but also take care of themselves.
What can people expect that come to? Let's talk first about the grief seminar for the bereaved, for the people that have lost a loved one. What can they expect when they come to the seminar?
Well, it's at Cerruti's, and it's in Summit Park. It's just off of Lima Road, and it's really easy parking, really easy to get to, very short to the door. So when they arrive there, there's going to be refreshments and so forth, and there'll be an hour session, and then refreshments once again, and time to chat with some of the people that are there. Typically there's 500 to 600 people that show up for that. So it is kind of a big group, but it's really easy to get around there. We're going to have some handouts for people to take home, notes if they want to take notes while Dr. Wolfelt's here, and then an opportunity to buy books. And he has his books there and some pamphlets and so forth. So if you're a reader, it's a great place to go.
It probably is good too, not only to hear what he has to say and gather knowledge from him, but to be around other people who have just lost loved ones, to talk to them and gather some knowledge and kind of benefit from each other's experiences.
Yeah, that's right. Part of going through grief and mourning is sharing your story, and the difference between grief and mourning is grief is that thing that you feel inside, you know, in your heart, and your heart is broken in your stomach. And mourning is the grief that has gone public, and grief gone public is known as crying. It can be telling the death story. In some countries they have something called keening, where they actually take these leather straps and hit themselves with them. You might have seen that on some news shows. But grief gone public is called mourning. Sometimes grief and mourning are used interchangeably, and they're definitely not the same thing. They're very different. Now,
will the event the next day, it's a day-long event, that event for the caregivers, will it be different?
Yes, it's going to be geared toward people that are caregivers rather than the recently bereaved. It's going to give them strategies on how to work with people that they're dealing with that are going through terminal illnesses or have been through a death in their family. So it will be more like a seminar, more hands-on probably, things for them to learn from. That's right, and not only will they learn, but they have an opportunity to get continuing education credits. So if you're a licensed professional, somebody in the nursing field or the social worker field, you're going to have an opportunity to pick up some continuing education credits, as well as get a free lunch. How can people get signed up? Well, the easiest way to do it is just go to our website, and just go on Google or any of the search engines and find us, and go on there, and there's a button that says the Wolfelt Seminar. Simply click on that button. It's a very easy to fill out registration form, and you're done. And that's it. There is no cost. There is no cost. The only time that there is a cost is if you need continuing education credits for one, I can't remember which one it is, but there's one group that it is a little expensive. Not expensive, but it is a little cost. And especially when you're getting those continuing education courses, probably in the scheme of things, it's not expensive. That's right. It's not. It is a free seminar, like I said, and certainly for all the recently bereaved. And for all the caregivers to come, it is free unless you want continuing education credits, and then there's a small cost.
All right. Well, if you would like to go to this, certainly everyone that's been has nothing but great things to say about it. Just go to McCombsons.com, or you can also give them a call, 426-9494. We'll be right back on Insight.